Hey students, welcome back to Life Science. We're going to learn lesson 2 here of our first chapter called the scientific method. And I want to introduce you to my friend here, my trusty friend Beethoven, who's got his safety goggles on and his mask. And of course, he's got a nice life science tie on here with some dolphins on it. All right, so he's always looking over my shoulder to make sure things are going all right. So we're talking about the scientific method today. The scientific method is a process of understanding. All right, so the word science means to know. It comes from a Latin word meaning to know. And so when we study science, when we practice science, I like to say this: we don't study science, that we practice science, meaning that we're always getting better, or we're trying to improve, or trying to learn something. So sometimes when you study something, it seems like it's in a box and it's stopped, and you only have to study that material. Science isn't that way. If we haven't learned anything in our last year or so, is that science and decisions and knowledge is growing, which is then causing the world to maybe adapt and change to new information. So when you think of science, it means to know or to continue to know and to continue to understand. So the scientific method, as described here in your textbook, is a series of steps. It's a series of steps that scientists follow when they investigate problems or try to answer questions. So these are a series of logical steps that usually go in a certain order, sometimes, but not always. They go in a certain order so that scientists can then understand or try to solve problems. Okay, so the scientific method, you may have seen it presented in a couple different ways before, but the first one is that you want to define a problem or find out what the question is or the problem is. Okay, so for instance, you keep waking up every night in the middle of the night at 2 a.m. So you're defining that I'm waking up at 2 a.m. I want to know why that is. That's the question. Or the problem is that's not a good thing. I need to stop this. So to find out why am I waking up in the middle of the night and I'm suffering and I can't sleep and I'm tired through the rest of the day, what is causing this? So that is the problem or the question that you might be having. You might come up with what is next is called a hypothesis. A hypothesis is an educated, thought out statement that is either going to be proven true or false. So, hypothesis could be, well, I've been drinking a lot of Monster energy drinks after dinner until about 11 o'clock at night. So perhaps it's all the caffeine and all the sugar and those that are in energy drinks that keeping me up. So the hypothesis would say, I'm waking up at 2 a.m. because of energy drinks. Okay, that's your hypothesis. The experiment, you would run an experiment. You then would try to control a certain amount of what are called variables, things that you can change. What can you change to potentially that would affect that you would not wake up at 2 a.m., that you would maybe sleep through the night or at least to a reasonable hour in the morning. All right. So you would have to change some things. So maybe you would drink one energy drink and see what would happen. Maybe you would drink 5 energy drinks and see what happened. Maybe you'd stop drinking the energy drinks. Maybe you would stop drinking energy drinks after a certain hour, say after 6. What you do is you would design what's called an experimental design. What would help you determine what is the cause. Is it the energy drinks? Maybe it's not the energy drinks. Maybe it's something else. Maybe there's a loud noise or a truck that drives by every night when someone's going to work at 2 a.m. Maybe it's something else is waking you up. Maybe it is your dog. Maybe it's not even the energy drinks at all. So you'd control the variables, change some things, and record. You would then observe and record your observations. Okay. And then based on what you see, is it the energy drinks? Is it a truck driving in the middle of the night? Is your dog waking you up? Is maybe you're getting cold or warm? Maybe your body temperature is changing. You would have to record some information and then you would make what's called inferences. Now, inferences is something based on your information that you have, you make a call, you make a decision based on the data that I have. You make a decision. So let's say, for instance, it's not the energy drink. You drank 5 energy drinks. One night you slept all the way through. One night you didn't. One night you drank no energy drinks and you still were woken, rose at 2 a.m. So it might be something else. So you realize one night you just stay up. You don't go to sleep. And then you realize at 2 a.m. that there is a truck driving through your neighborhood, or it is your dog trying to scratch on the door to get into your room. Okay, so what you do is based on that, you say, that's the cause. It's the dog, it's the truck, it's the energy drink, or it's not the energy drink. You make inferences, you make statements based on the data, not your feelings, not what you think, but based on only what you observe and record. Okay, and then you make conclusions. You make conclusions. This is what was concluded, that let's say you came down to all that, you noticed that it was a dog, your favorite pet, that comes in and wants to snuggle you at night or wants to go out at night. So then you apply a solution to that. So what's that solution going to be? Maybe you put the dog in the crate. Maybe you take the dog out before you go to bed. Whatever that thing is that would help you then sleep through the night. Okay, so that's an example of using the scientific method to go through a problem. So we'll talk a little bit more about these in class, but that's just the opening for you guys, and I hope to see you soon.